So I need a few people who are mixed race. The way this thing works, the way social life works, is nobody lets anybody be on two teams at once. Like, you cannot be on two teams. If you're on their team, if you support that team over there, then you don't support this team over here. It's like you can't, if you go to the blue-white game and try to support both blue and white, you can't even do that. You got to pick a side. Everybody has to pick a side, right? So whose side, and you're not picking a side, man. We're going to force you to pick a side. So how does that play out in your life? I mean, I'm not saying that it should be that way. This is just how it is. How does it play out in your life? And bro, you were shaking your head first on that. So
at least from my life experience, it's definitely been like a no for me, like hardcore no. So I'm from Maryland. There's a heavy population of brown and Muslim peoples in the DMV area. And so at least growing up from my mosque, I have an accent when I speak Arabic. And so when I would recite Arabic in my mosque or whatever like that, my earliest memory of that is the brown people in the class saying oh, I didn't know white boy could say it like that. It's dead serious. And then also on the white, on the social school side of things, I'd go to school with white people, and they'd as soon as ISIS started coming out and stuff like that, I'd get shown ISIS videos every day, get called terrorists, stuff like that. And so it'd be both sides of each other.
And how do you identify those? So I mean, it's Pakistani American, but how do you actually really identify in your mind?
I don't.
You don't?
I choose not to, because both cultures are it's an audition, It's if people are just you're not what we're looking for on both sides of this, well, just okay, so neither,
All right. How about you, Brecklin?
I typically choose not to identify either, because that's something I struggled with as a child.
How'd you struggle with that?
Just I wasn't white enough for my white community in class, and I wasn't black enough for the black kids in school. So.
And when you say you weren't white enough or black enough, how did that play itself out? What happened to tell you that?
If I would try to hang out with the black kids in school, they'd be oh no, you're too white for us, and vice versa with the white kids.
And then if you tried to hang out with white people, they would say you don't fit with us.
Yeah, you don't really fit in this crowd either.
So who did you hang out with?
I mean, I still had a handful of white friends and black friends that we kind of all just banded together, but majority of my classroom experience and on the playground and stuff like that, that's what I would experience. I was the only mixed kid in my elementary school, and then there was one other black girl in elementary school, and so we were best friends. And then as I grew up, there was more diversity coming into our town. But
I probably identify with being Cuban, just because most of my friends and where I grew up, most people are Spanish, so that's what I identify with. But I also feel for sure, whenever I'm with my white friends, I'm the dark one, I get treated like that. Whenever I'm with the black guys, I'm the white guy, I'm all corny, I'm all like that. But
tell me the ways, and with Brecklin, what are the ways in which this struggle to choose sides emerged in your life?
I mean, it's not really a struggle for me. I feel I'm a kind of sociable person, so I've always kind of got along with both groups, been kind of in the middle. I don't know. Race is a big thing for me.
I think I identify with all three. The family I was raised with, they're black and Italian. My dad's side is Puerto Rican, and I wasn't really raised with them, but I just started to be around them, so I'm kind of learning more about the culture, and I mean, I feel overall I fit in.
So in what ways were you accepted by your black and Italian relatives, and what ways were you not?
I think definitely, my relatives, I already automatically fit in. I think also living in Philly, I was more accepted as black anyway, because all my schools were predominantly black, and because I'm black, I just fit in with them. But I think being here, being lighter, I don't really fit in with the black community here, being light skinned I am. Because I don't really have color to me.
No, because you're really light skinned.
Yeah, I really am. Nobody would assume that I'm black or mixed with black.
So so who's black in your family?
On my mom's side.
On your mom's side?
Yeah.
And are they dark skinned black?
My mom is light brown.
Do white people immediately assume you're not white? Or?
Yeah, because next to the basic white person, I don't look white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the odd thing, right? Like,
Yeah, like I don't look white, but I don't look black. I don't look Puerto Rican. Yeah.
is there like a part of your family that accepts you more than the other part of your family?
I think definitely the white side does, actually.
The white side?
The white side definitely.
Accepts you more?
Accepts me more. Like I get, like I'm definitely in way more contact with like the brown side of my family more, but like I like 100%. Race doesn't even come up on like the white side of the family. Like the brown side, it comes up all the time.
How does it come up? What happens? This is the Pakistani side.
This is the Pakistan
And
side.
these are Pakistani Americans, or
These are-
in Pakistan. Have you been to Pakistan?
I've been to Pakistan, yes.
Yeah. Whereabouts?
Karachi.
Karachi?
Yeah.
Okay.
When it comes up to like culture conversations, I guess, like I don't know, like brown people in here like biryani. I guess like we have arguments about like aloo or like chicken or like whatever we want to put in there. I guess it's like a dumb example, but like culture arguments like that or like culture conversations, like not that I can't participate. It's like they think that I don't know what I'm talking about, you know, or that I assume like that I know nothing about culture, like religion in general, you know.
I don't think it's a matter of acceptance, but I'm just closer with the white side of my family. My mom's side of the family is like she has a lot of siblings, and there's a lot of cousins on that side. Whereas my dad, he was the only one out of his 3 siblings to have children, so we're just more involved with the white
So
side.
there are
of
just
my
fewer
family.
people.
Right.
So like when you think about it, family and extended family,
Right.
and like gatherings and that sort of thing, it's much more your white side. So you just sort of are.
Yes.
Whenever I see like my Spanish family, they're always like, "Oh, your Spanish is trash," like all like that, or you can't dance or something like that. I think I'm a good dancer, but like with my white family, it's just different. I don't know. Like I'm like the odd one out. Like me and my brother, are the odd one out.
Wait, I want to go back to the
them.
dancing piece.
Yeah.
So they're busting on you.
Yeah.
But is there a part of you that feels like they're actually not busting on me? They're actually there's like something underneath that.
Pause.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like, it's all love. Like, I know they love me. They're from Cuba, directly from Cuba.
Yeah.
And since I grew up in New York, like, it's different, and just the culture's different. So,
Yeah.
I definitely see the differences between me
Yeah,
and them.
yeah, yeah. Hey, what are like the coolest things about being mixed?
Just that I'm different. Like, somebody will look at me and be like, "What the hell are you?" And like, I kind of have fun with it. Like, I'll say different stuff. Like, I'll say something different depending on the day, or I'll say guess or something, but I don't know. I think it makes me different.
Does it bother you when people ask you that? Does
used
it get
to.
old or
When
something?
I was younger, I'd just be like, "What? Like, I'm human. Like, what do you mean what I am?" But like now, I just have fun with it, really.
Learning about the different cultures and
From
being
the
able
inside,
to
you mean?
practice. Yeah. Because like we practice our like Italian culture, Black culture, Puerto Rican culture. Well, I do.
So you're really connected to all 3 cultures,
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
pretty
I don't
cool.
speak Spanish. I don't speak Italian. So.
but you're
that's
connected
kind of a
to cultural
disconnect.
practices.
Yeah.
But you speak Phillyese, man. Not everyone can do that. All right. So that's one of the coolest things is being connected to different cultures. Yo, how about you? Give me the coolest thing about being mixed.
Being able to not like play on all teams, but I've gotten to learn about like my dad's struggles growing up
Yeah.
in the 50s and 60s as an African American man, and my parents' struggles as a biracial couple. So just being able to actually, rather than just being a white person and empathizing with the African American struggle, I actually have ancestry that has had to go through that, and so I can understand it, and that kind of motivates me in what I've learned. And
So you have a personal stake
Exactly.
in other people's experiences,
Right.
and in particular the African American experience.
Right.
So it's like leads you to really be in it more.
yes.
Do you feel like what's your experience with your connection to the African American community? Are you accepted in that sense of like they understand that, or to what degree are you?
Right. So my dad's a small business owner in our town, and so
Yep.
everyone knows that I'm his daughter, so I'm widely accepted in the African American community there because they know that like he's my father. But
Yep.
if I'm like here, for example, or in other communities, people don't automatically think that I'm black or that I'm even
So
mixed.
like here in a place like Penn State, like if someone asks, "Hey, I need a black volunteer," you wouldn't. Would you raise your hand or not, or would you? Do you identify?
I would raise my hand, but other people don't think that. I often get mistaken for Hispanic or
Yeah.
a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because DNA-wise, in terms of DNA ancestry, your DNA is probably very similar to yours. This is the final question. What's like the most annoying thing about being mixed?
Probably the idea that we have to choose what we identify as. Like, we can't have our own identity. Like, I have to be white, I have to be black, I have to be Native American. Like, why can't I just be me?
Got you.
Yeah.
So that idea about why can't we all just be Americans?
Right.
That's like you all are really kind of saying that. Look, we're the most American of anybody because we're mixed.
Yeah.
Just like the U.S. is represented by people from all over the world, and you're sort of saying just be that.
Yeah.
And you were shaking your head. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, like wholeheartedly. I think like, I don't know. I've heard like a lot of labels my entire life, and it's like, yeah, I use them just like not because I like them, just because like other people define me as that.
Yeah.
Like I'll just say like whenever I'm talking to someone who's white, I'll say that I'm brown, and like also vice versa. Just because like I don't know, in that sense, it's so long to explain the fact that yeah, no, I don't agree with either, and like I don't know, it's just jumping off the deep end of like a pool of conversation of just like.
So you're just trying to like turn the conversation in a different way.
Yeah.
I would say just when people just like assume what you are, someone be like, "Oh, you're white," I'm like, but I'm not. Like I might look white, but some people say I look white, but I don't know. Sometimes it gets on my nerves. But overall, I think it's a good experience. I like being what I am.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you look white. I mean, like I look at you, for example, and I'm like,
You don't know, right?
yeah, I don't know. And I would be, and then I would ask, like, dude, what's your ancestry? Like, what's your background?
I say the same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah. Like, since people don't know what I am, they just assume that I'm white. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm so light. Yeah.
And then what is it, right? Like, what is it to be white, right? Because, you know, on one hand you are, on the other hand it's like, well, what are we? Because, well, we're ancestry is our physical, biological admixture, right? Our DNA, but it's also our culture. And it's also our heritage and our ancestors and all of that. It's all of these things, and that's what we are. That's what makes us who we are. So, but definitely you're more and more the future of the world.